Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and it's my birthday. Okay, well, technically I'm recording this on the 19th, release on the 23rd, which is my birthday, but you get it. As I kind of reflect on this past year, in the comments, I would love it if you let me know which one of my videos from like the last year stands out the most to you, because I know what it is for me, but I don't necessarily know what it is for my viewers, and I'm kind of doing some research trying to make sure like I'm doing things for the channel that are good for you all. And if you all want to financially support me on my birthday and help pay for all these like EDH things that I'm getting into now, donation information is always available in the video description. You can support me on Patreon, yada, 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 yada. All right. So today, Mason asked me to build a legacy deck around Dockside Chef. And Dockside Chef has some absolute S tier art. I love this art. I think it is like hilarious and cool. Love the purpley vibes that are going on. And the issue here is that it's not particularly a legacy power level card. So my first thought was, can we break this thing? Can we come up with some sort of like combo that allows me to go infinite with this card? And the answer was yes, but the combos that I found either required like 4 cards or required a card with like CMC 6 or something like that. And that was really a no-go by legacy standards. And then I saw that this thing was an enchantment creature, and my mind went in one of two directions. Can we either like play Enchantress with Dockside Chef? And I started thinking like, well, no, I'm not going to have artifacts or creatures to sacrifice. It's not going to be good there. And then I thought back to a deck list I saw on Reddit from user Punishing Waterfalls with Michiko's Reign of Truth. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each artifact and or enchantment you control. And you get to do that twice, and then you turn it into a creature that has +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. And I got the idea to put this thing into an Affinity style deck list. And it just so happens that there is another card like this, Nettlecyst, that saw a lot of play when this set first came out. So I started thinking, like, yeah, I think we can do this. So we are going to play like actual factual Affinity here. And we're going to be playing Gingerbrute. All right. This is a 1/1 haste artifact creature, and the first ability here is super relevant. For 1 mana, you can make it so this thing can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. If you think about the legacy creature pool, not very many of them have haste, right? So this essentially means 1 mana, this is unblockable. And if you pair this with things like Cranial Plating, Nettlecyst, or Michiko, which really give you buffs for the number of artifacts you control, and you're playing a bunch of artifacts in the first place, you might end up with a very real deck. Now, we are going to be playing with as many zero-cost artifacts as I reasonably can. There are more zero-cost artifacts than this. You know, there are things like Lotus Petals, but I think these are the reasonable ones. And the Ornithopters are not only going to be an evasive creature for Cranial Plating and Michiko, but they also pair very well with Retrofitter Foundry, which lets you sacrifice a Thopter to turn it into a 4/4. Very notably in this deck, for 2 mana every turn, you can make a Servo token, which is going to power up these 3 heavy-hitting cards in this deck. And we also have a Vault Scourge so that we can make something that can maybe lifelink a Murktide Regent or equivalent. And as with any good brew, we need to throw in 4 Urza's Sagas, you know, just for good measure. All right. So one thing here is we are a little reliant on the artifact mana in this deck list. Mox Opal and the 4 of Springleaf Drum here are really doing the color fixing for these 7 cards. Generally speaking, we are a colorless deck that has splashed 2 colors, and the mana base kind of reflects that, right? It's more important for us for these to be artifact lands than it is for them to tap for both of the colors, since so much of this deck is actually just colorless. Note, I did consider playing bridges in the spots where these 2 scrublands are, but I figured like the scrubland gives me a chance to play Dockside Chef untapped on turn 1 when I don't have an Opal or a Springleaf Drum, which is important because like one of the other things the Dockside Chef is going to do in this deck is just tap for mana with Springleaf Drum. The Dockside Chef is essentially my end game. Like, I don't need this artifact anymore, but I need to find a certain card to win the game. Like, I can sacrifice a bit of my board to go towards that. Like, that's my game plan here. As far as deck design goes, we're not trying super hard to beat the Collector Oofs and the Null Rods and such. Um, I am hoping that by the time those things come down, that my board is big enough that I can win through them. That's kind of the game plan here. A lot of times when you play a brew, you can't beat everything, and I think Collector Oof here is the thing that I'm kind of sacrificing. My plan versus combo is kill them fast in game one and maybe board into some thorns or some graveyard hate or something like that that will allow me to punch through in the post sideboard games. All right, let's go ahead and get into the league here. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you like what you see for lots of other fun, janky deck lists. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before the video begins. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. My opponent sent me a pleasant little message that I assume they have copy and pasted to send to all their opponents. Best wishes to you and yours. We are lucky to have this chance to enjoy this game together. Love to you and the world. And as I get turn one. All right. All right. The old bait and switch. I thought it was going to be Red Prison, to be honest. I thought I was just going to eat like turn one Chalice or Moon. Okay. There's a Thassa's Oracle in exile here. Opponent must have multiple Thassa's Oracles? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Oh, they're fucking going now. Opponent gets to turn one me on the play. Okay. So what is it going to be now? Like LED Street Wraith? Crack for triple blue? Yeah. All right. I somewhat know what I'm doing with Doomsday. Confirmed. And this will just be the Thassa's Oracle for the turn one win. Absolutely gross. All right. So we're playing against the personal tutor version, which is relatively consistent at finding the Doomsday. I like the idea of Aethersworn Canonist. I like the idea of Thorn of Amethyst. Those will be all the cards that I'm boarding. I don't really have enough interaction for this specific matchup. So Nettlecyst is really powerful, but plays very poorly with Thorn of Amethyst. I think I go down some number of these and some number of Dockside Chefs. I'm not sure the exact balance here. Like Dockside Chef is another early artifact and a creature I can equip plating to. Urza Saga, Springleaf Drum, Mox Opal. Yeah, this will be fine as a keep. All right, Urza Saga, Springleaf Drum, Memnite, Mox Opal. Tap a Memnite for white, or really it can be any color. And just play Thorn on turn one, and then I can start making Urza Saga construct tokens next turn, or I can cast this other stuff. I have I have 3 mana to work with. This can just be a 5/5 Urza Saga construct token, which honestly seems fine to me. Not really expecting an end of turn play from my opponent here. Oh, purely a fetch to thin. That's fine. Now, opponent can Doomsday through Thorn of Amethyst, right? Like, that is absolutely a thing that can happen. Okay. You require 1 more mana to Doomsday. There is the 1 more mana. There's the Doomsday. I might just be able to kill my opponent, though. I will have 6 onboard damage. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play Michiko and kill my opponent. All right, opponent's at 8. Let's tap Memnite for mana. Make a token. Oh, I don't even need to play it, right? This is 6. Or no, I can't make the token easily. Yeah, let's just float mana and do it this way. All right. Search up. I guess I can just be like a Memnite. Search up a Memnite. Tap this Memnite for mana. Play a Michiko. Make a giant Memnite. Crash in for very much more than lethal. And I don't really get to change anything regarding sideboarding here unless I want to get cute and try to Pithing Needle a fetch land. I don't really think I want to do. I think this matchup is fast enough that, like, maybe it's more important for me to have this thing that just kills my opponent in case I do get another turn. I don't know. This plays a lot of cards on turn 1. Opal, Gingerbrute, Memnite, Ornithopter, Mox Opal, Drum, Urza Saga. Doesn't immediately start attacking. And the Cranial Plating hand is just kind of faster than this. This hand feels slow to me on the draw. Like, this is an absolutely acceptable hand for this deck, but I don't get in for any real damage until turn 3, at which point I expect to be dead. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan here. Awkward. So this has a hate card, but not the ability to cast it. I think I'm going to ship again. All right. This is on 5. On 5, am I just keeping this? Play double creature on turn 1, Michiko on turn 2, and have mana to play Thorn or Canonist. I'm probably keeping this at that point. Not thrilled about it, but I think this is an incredibly tough matchup in the first place. See what opponents got. Reef. That card takes my Michiko and tears apart my hand. I am left with a very bad hand and hoping to top deck a piece of gas of some kind. I have a lot of really good top decks, though. Thorn, Canonist, Urza Saga, Michiko, Cranial Plating, Nettlecyst are all great. Okay, yep, and it's gone. Am I going to get turn 1 on top of that? Turn 1 with Disruption? Yeah, there it is. Actually, depending on what's left in my opponent's hand, they might not actually turn 1 or even turn 2 me. Right, like they used a Lotus Petal there instead of using a land. There's a small chance that I'm safe for a turn or 2. And that my opponent will need to make some land drops. Alright. Well, let's play a Vault Scourge here. And I will play a Springleaf Drum. Tap Vault Scourge for black. Play Gingerbrute. Attack in for 1, and we'll see if I'm dead. Like, it really depends on what opponent had in hand to start with. Alright. I expect to die next turn. Alright, there's Shadow Spear. There's an Equip. Ash in for 3. If I had the Michiko, I would be just short of killing my opponent here. Oh? Wow. Well, I guess I don't need to play that pre-combat. I don't have anything. Yeah, I had live draws for a kill here. I didn't get there, but I had live draws for it. Cranial Plating or Nettlecyst or Michiko. Yeah. Okay, there's the Brainstorm, so opponent can set up their thing. This will allow them to go land drop into Thassa's Oracle for their kill. I imagine I am dead right now. Yeah, there's uncounterable Thassa's Oracle. That's a shame. We fell just short. You know, one turn cycle short or one different draw short of winning there. Ancient Den wouldn't have done it. All right, GG's. Okay. This hand is pretty bad against a Wasteland. I think I keep it. I'm not sure that I lead on Urza's Saga, though. On its mulliganing to 5 cards. That might change my mind. That might mean I just need to put a creature in play as soon as possible. But, like, then I'm not spewing artifacts onto the board if I do that. So I think I will just lead on Cranial Plating. This allows me to just play a Nettlecyst next turn and have, like, Nettlecyst plus Cranial Plating as a thing that I can do. See what degenerate thing my opponent is mulliganing towards. A Merit Lodge is probably the answer here. I'm going to lose my Shadow Spear, which is super unfortunate. Oh, I lost a Nettlecyst. Ooh. Okay, I do probably need to put a creature body onto the board. But next turn is, in theory, really cool. So this thing's a 3/3 as of right now, but with, like, Cranial Plating and Shadow Spear coming, this thing will get large pretty fast. Douthie Voidwalker, yeah, no big deal there. That has Shadow. That doesn't get in the way of my creature. There's a Saga Construct token isn't actually that good. I just want a Cranial Plating Equip, or do I want to play, like, one of Shadow Spear or Vault Scourge? I guess I could do it like this, where I just, like, vomit cards out of hand. Yeah. So I should pay life here. Pay the colorless like this. Do 2 here. Shadow Spear. And then equip my Cranial Plating. This is turn 3. We're attacking for 9, and I have lethal next turn. Pretty legit. And I can trample over something next turn. I'm about to lose 1 power on Nettlecyst from losing Urza's Saga, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, opponent not attacking with Douthie Voidwalker, which is kind of weird. I just want to go like Cranial Plating equip onto Vault Scourge, I think. And I'll just get a Mox here. Oh, I see. They've got an opposition agent. Sure, that's fine. Don't think that makes them any less dead. Oh, actually, that does keep them from dying, right? An Ornithopter. So if I give this Trample, this is a 9/9. They take 7 from it and 1 from Vault Scourge. What if I move a stuff to Vault Scourge? If I move Nettlecyst and Cranial Plating to Vault Scourge, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts, which is exactly the correct amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 9. Yeah. Whip that to Vault Scourge. Oh, what are we doing? Whip that to Vault Scourge. Okay, yeah. And opponent sees what's up. All right, cool. So we are playing against like the Douthie, Helm, Saga, Depths, whatever you want to call it. I'll play an Aether Spellbomb and a Pithing Needle to help me out against the Merit Lodge side of the deck, and I will probably play Dismembers. It's a cheap effect. Like, my opponent has sub-creatures that matter, like Douthie Voidwalker can get a little weird, and it can disrupt their combo. Probably don't need 2 Retrofitter Foundries, because most of the time I probably want to find one of these 2 cards. Kind of like I can then trim some stuff and do something like this. Something approximating that seems reasonable. How fast is this hand? Urza Saga, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Gingerbrute on turn 1, and then I have 2 mana. So that'll be Michiko on turn 2. I'll keep this. The hand gets a little awkward if Michiko gets Thought Seized, but like then becomes fine again if I draw another mana source. Okay, or if it gets Duressed. Like with any mana source in 2 draws, I just get to play a Nettlecyst instead of a Michiko, which is like totally fine. Ooh, I lost the Springleaf Drum. Annoying. Can't play my chef now. Alright. Yeah. 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 This hand will become very bad if I don't actually draw a mana source. Because like I'll just end up losing the Urza Saga in a couple of turns to turn it into a Mox Opal, which won't be great. But again, if I spike a land and I just get to start doing this or this, I think I'm okay. Here we see like Urborg being great mana fixing. Come on, mana source. Eh. Oh, I could have played Dockside Chef there instead of Spellbomb. Putting Spellbomb in play is probably just better, though. Sorry, Dockside Chef. Poke in for my 1 point of damage, call it a turn. I'm pretty far behind here. Taking the Springleaf Drum was a gamble on my opponent's end, but it's a gamble that, like, absolutely worked out. I am not worried about my opponent's Urza Saga Construct tokens if I draw lands. If I don't draw lands, it's a huge problem. And if my opponent has Opposition Agent, I think I just have to concede. Like, losing this Urza Saga would be pretty rough. Alright, there's my mana. Ah, fuck, they have it. I think at this point I'm just going to concede this game. I'm off mana. My opponent is way ahead on board. I have basically uncastables in my hand and no mana. That's fine. Given how that game turned out, maybe make this adjustment. Alright, this is a very reasonable Urza Saga-based hand. And the discard effects won't actually be very good against me, because I will just have vomited my entire hand onto the battlefield. And I have a blocker for a Merit Lodge, which hopefully buys me time to get to a Spell Bomb should I need it. There's a weird situation that could come... Nice. There's a weird situation that could come up where if my opponent passes with a black mana up, I'm not supposed to attack with Memnite because of Opposition Agent. So, like, that's a thing. Okay. So this is 1 mana, 2 mana for this, so I can go ahead and just play Gingerbrute. I'm just going to tap the Ornithopter, though. Just make that this way. You are moving parts for later. Bash in for 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 into 8, 8 into 9, 9 token. Pretty legit. I also will be left with the decision about whether or not I just want to Pithing Needle my opponent's Urza Saga. It will make my own Urza Saga noticeably worse. So, like, there's that to think about. Alright. New construct. Opponent has opposition agent again. That's really annoying. So now my opponent can go and find, like, a spell bomb. Actually, I guess I can't use the blue portion of that. You get, like, a Retrofitter Foundry. Problem with opposition agent. Yeah, they've got an Aether spell bomb, but probably can't get the blue mana, I imagine. Alright. So let's make it so that this can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. And then bash in with both of these. Yeah. Opponent's in a bad spot. Like, they have 2 blockers, which have to go in front of these in all likelihood. Yeah, like, your spell bomb is fine. Again, I don't imagine... Oh, okay, it's straight up just drawing a card. I don't know what the Hail Mary they're looking for is. Yeah. Alright, and we win the match there. Alright, round 3. Land, Ornithopter, Springleaf Drum. One of the 1-drop creatures. Yeah, this is probably a keep. A little soft to something happening to the Cranial Plating. Okay, so we are potentially playing against some sort of lands type card here. Alright, Tabernacle is going to crush the ever-loving shit out of me. I am just going to say that preemptively. I think I want to play Vault Scourge this turn. Like, playing it and then equipping it with Cranial Plating next turn if I spike a mana source is very strong. Yeah, Dockside Chef as an enchantment creature does not contribute to the Cranial Plating count. It contributes to the count of the other 2 things. That's a little rough. Yeah, there's a crop rotation, sure. God damn it. God damn it. Like, I'll, I guess, save a Vault Scourge. Yeah, goodbye, Ornithopters. I think if I miss my land... Oh, I did not miss my land drop. I'm going to have to take this one a little slow. If I play out the Gingerbrute there, and then something happens to my Springleaf Drum, or my Ancient Tomb, it's just very bad for me. This is still just very bad for me. I'm just kind of stuck in this holding pattern. I think I don't play anything so that I can just equip Cranial Plating and pay for this creature and start attacking next turn. Like, this is a 5-power creature already. Alright. Yes. Other Cranial Plating. Not super good on current board. Alright. Here's to hoping we can just do that 3 more times and the game ends. There's Life from the Loam, which notably here is returning both Wasteland and a Cycling Land. Pay for this. And then things start getting awkward next turn with that Wasteland. Alright, bash for 5. Then this gets Wastelanded, and my opponent buys at least 1 turn of not getting attacked. Which is frustrating. I really need, like, a Mox Opal. I'm asking for specific cards that I would like to draw. That ain't it. And we'll see end of turn Cycling Land here. Yep. Dredging the Life from the Loam. That's a Maze of Ith. Fuck. Guess that's like Life from the Loam to Maze of Ith. I don't really think I win from here. Like, it's possible I can steal a win, but like this... Oh, wow. They're just going for the Dark Depths to just work on killing me. I guess that's fair. Discarded a Bojuka Bog. Alright. A for Vault Scourge. I think I'm just gonna concede here. I don't think I'm winning from this spot, and I'm gonna value my own time. Alright. I can play a whole bunch of Tormod's Crypts, Spellbomb, and Pithing Needle here to just kind of have better game versus the graveyard while growing my artifact count. And these help with the Merit Large combo portion of the deck. We are just, like, not playing against slow decks where it's just, like, reasonable to leave this in because, like, I will have an end game where we go on for 10 turns. But I think this is the worst card in the matchup here. I mean, just generically, it's the worst card in the deck, right? And like we're building around this card because it's cool, not because like we think it's a good card to build around. Like if we are playing against some like blue green bant mid-rangey pile, like this is totally reasonable. But like we're playing against a combo deck that also has access to Tabernacle, and this card just doesn't make a lot of sense here, unfortunately. From there, the cuts get harder because I do need to like these cards are very bad versus Tabernacle, but are important to like my Springleaf Drum and Mox Opals producing the mana I need to cast this stuff. I don't know, maybe if I'm bringing a bunch of Tormod's Crypt, that kind of replaces some of the value of Memnite. Let's maybe cut one expensive card, maybe cut one Springleaf Drum, and I don't know on the last one. Gingerbrute's interesting because it gets through zombies if Field of the Dead becomes a thing. I cut one Memnite. Uh, this vomits my hand on turn 1, but I don't think this is a hand that wins. I think I'm just going to mulligan this one. Yikes. This hand is 1 mana short from being keepable and is absolutely dead to a wasteland. I have to ship again. Yikes. Alright. On 5, I'll keep. I get rid of this. I can't cast it. I think I need to keep both of these mana sources in case I draw a Nettlecyst. I think I'm going to keep the hate cards rather than double Gingerbrute. And then hope to get lucky. Spike, Cranial Plating, or Nettlecyst, or Urza Saga, I guess. But this hand just didn't work out. I think this is going to be a challenging matchup, just generally speaking. Tabernacle is just so good at my vomit stuff onto the board plan. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's totally fine. What did they pitch? Oh, they pitched Uro. That's in there too. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna search. I didn't find anything. I didn't find anything. Alright. I just probably need to cycle that into a new card here. Hey! Can't play that one this turn. I don't think I have a reason to play the Ornithopter now. Just expose it to various removal spells. Like, without mana to actively equip Cranial Plating or Nettlecyst or something, I think I can just chill for a turn. Yeah. Yeah. Now do I have a reason to play out Ornithopter? Still don't think so. Bash in for my 1. Okay. Rashad Port's very bad. It, like, denies me at least 1, if not 2, Urza Saga tokens. You know what? You're unblockable. Alright. Yeah. I might actually want to play this out now. No, it's fine. I can wait. Sure. Thespian Sage targeting my Urza Saga. It's no big deal. Ooh, Retrofitter Foundry. Alright. Float my mana. Probably get the Pithing Needle here. Name Urza Saga. Alright. There's Retrofitter Foundry. Now I can play this Ornithopter, turn it into a 4/4. And hope that I just kind of crippled my opponent's plan enough. They don't actually have any colored mana right now for like their green spells. But I basically have 0 mana as well. Fuck me. Like, I turn this into a 4/4, but I don't actually get any damage in. My Vault of Whispers gets tapped down. Yeah. I'm unblockable. Yeah, and without mana, I am getting in 1 damage a turn here, which is just, like, not acceptable. Ugh. This matchup feels so bad. Like, I'm ahead on board. My opponent probably can't cast any spells, and I still feel like I'm losing. Alright, then as a next turn, my opponent gets real spells. Alright, you tap my land. You can't catch me, I'm the Gingerbread Man. Can't cast this card. Crash in for 1 damage. This is a very bad cycle that I'm trapped in here. It becomes worse if opponent has something cool that they can fetch with Urza Saga. And that's a very good possibility that they do. Okay, it's air quotes just a Mox Diamond. But now opponent has access to actual factual colored mana. I'm only hitting in for one a turn. The Life from the Loam type stuff starts to come on now. This is Merit Lodge like a turn from now, or double Maze of Ith. I don't think I beat this. It also just can get Tabernacle, which obliterates me in a different direction. Yeah. I think I'm comfortable conceding here. This is not happening. GG's. All right. We have gotten paired against a Yorion deck, which is increasingly just meaning blue mid-rangey pile that may or may not have a combo finish. I don't think my opening hand has enough mana here, or a good payoff. I'm just gonna mulligan. Is this a fine 6? This might be a fine 6. Probably keep this and throw back one Cranial Plating or Nettlecyst. I think I'll make it a Nettlecyst in case I end up with kind of a disappearing mana problem. Alright, we might actually be playing against Death and Taxes for the first time in what feels like eons. Let's grab Retrofitter Foundry, play Memnite, and assuming no Thalia, I can start bashing in with Michiko next turn. This was a regular plains and not a snow-covered plains, which does actually make me think this is more than likely Death and Taxes. Thalia is annoying here, Stoneforge is annoying here. Weather of Runes is not that relevant here. Ancient Tomb. That can be Cranial Plating equip. I don't know that I like that line. That line's way worse versus Swords to Plowshares. I think I just want to play a Nettlecyst this turn and attack with Memnite. It's not my most aggressive play possible, but it kind of feels like throwing everything all into the Swords to Plowshares here doesn't feel fantastic. I want to end this game because Death and Taxes has really good inevitability, but I'd much rather get like a Germ token Swords to Plowshare than I would like something that I spent so much mana on. Yep, there we go. And then like next turn, if I want, I can equip this Nettlecyst to Memnite and create a real threat. The nice thing here is that I have recurable threats. Yeah, Recruiter is probably fine. Getting a Skyclave. Sure. Gingerbrute's kind of sick. I'm always playing Urza Saga. Nettlecyst is 2 to equip. I think I want my opponent to Skyclave Nettlecyst, and then I'll play Michiko later. Actually, I can throw Cranial Plating on the board. Or no, not the way that I want. I need 3 mana to do this. I need 1 mana to make this unblockable. Yeah. Let's just do this way. Make this unblockable. Bash in for 6 unblockable damage. I don't think I want to trade Memnite for Recruiter right now. I just threaten so much more damage in other ways with it. Like, if this Gingerbrute dies, I just have so much more damage potential with it. Yeah, that's fine. Gingerbrute here, like, coming in clutch. Yeah, I'll take 1 damage. I don't care about that. That's no big deal. He's legendary. Nope. I think I just ignore my Urza Saga Construct tokens. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's play a Michiko. Make Gingerbrute huge. That's a 6/6. Can't be blocked. And that should kill my opponent next turn if they can't answer it somehow. Okay, they have a Solitude for a food golem. That's pretty good for my opponent. My opponent can take some chip shots at me. I'm still threatening an okay-sized attack next turn. Not huge. Stoneforge gets Cauldra. I can get a Pithing Needle, though, and stop that. So opponent's gonna go for a Rishadan Port on my... Well, I guess on my Scrubland probably makes sense. Yeah. That's fine. Alright. I'll make a large Memnite. I will go ahead and take my value off the Urza Saga token. That's a 3/3. Grab Pithing Needle. Oh shit, this is a game 1 scenario. Grab Gingerbrute then? Gingerbrute for unblockable is probably very good here. Alright. There's a 6/6. Play my land drop. Can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. Crash in. Alright, opponent just taking the loss with Mother of Runes there. So, Gingerbrute can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. And the Cauldron token notably will have haste. Is a little awkward for me. I think I just set up to try to kill next turn. Play like double Cranial Plating out this turn, and then try to present multiple lethal threats in the future. Like the first strike here is just very rough when coupled with the ability. Yeah, let's slow things down just a little bit. I'll float a mana. What opponent is doing there is making it so that I can't instant speed Cranial Plating equip. There's a heads up line. Alright. Then I'll chill this turn and try to go for some sort of lethal lines for next turn. The opponent will have Cauldron, which is one very, very strong blocker. But I'm kind of hoping they're low on gas beyond that. Alright, there's movement. Ooh, there's another Stoneforge Mystic. That gets a Batterskull if they have one. They do. That's bad. Okay, so my Cranial Platings give +8/+8, and I can do it at instant speed. All these things require blocking. I have nothing that gives trample. And if I attack in, I automatically throw something to its death. And give 4 life to my opponent. What is my plan to win this? Probably make a Thopter. And hope to get in under like Yorion and Flicker Wisp. I probably want to do this at end of turn. Get some equips going for the future. I think I'm fine with something like this and then passing. It's going to be annoying. Shadow Spear would be cool. Well, actually, no, Shadow Spear would still be cool. Okay, that's a Recruiter. Is scary. Getting Solitude. Ugh. Yeah, no attacks from my opponent. I will make my idiot. Urza Saga is reasonable. I think I'll just pass my turn here. Dude, I'm trying to keep this as a surprise for if I do start sneaking Thopters in there. That's fine. End of turn. Get a Thopter. Fine with untapping this. Fine with making a Servo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think I want to lose the life here. Vault Scourge is cool. Maybe should have made my Urza Saga Construct token there. I'm just like trying to watch trample damage from Cauldron as something that kills me. Alright. There's an equip to the Thopter. The Urza Saga token doesn't matter. Do this. Okay, so there's the Solitude. This is going to give me 11 life. I'm good with that. Now, I'm going to play a Vault Scourge using some of that life. Equip it with a Cranial Plating, and opponent dies next turn. If they do not have a flyer, and they are currently Hellbent, they can't both play and equip Yorion. Okay, that's Legend ruling a Caracas, so they can put a Yorion into their hand, or they can equip Cauldron with Batterskull, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Just an attack for 9. I can just take that, that's fine. Puts my opponent to 21. I should just be able to very easily kill them. Let's make a token. Casually an 11/11. Really think it matters what I get here. A Shadow Spear. Play a land. Play. Oh, that doesn't immediately. Oh no, it does immediately trigger. What am I thinking? All right, there's a very, very, very large creature with lifelink. Okay, that was a slug. I don't have a lot for this matchup. I have 3 or 4 cards that I can potentially board in. Aether Spellbomb's just like so good to get a token out of the way. Based on this game, I do not think I can cut any finisher. I do not think I can cut any flyer. I do not think I can cut Gingerbrute. That leaves these as the cuttable cards. I don't think Mox Opal's cuttable here. I probably could trim a Springleaf Drum. That's okay, but opponent has Spirit of the Labyrinth. Foundry makes flyers. I want Shadow Spear for trample. The honest answer may be, like, my deck is pretty well positioned in terms of cards here. Memnite's not great. Dockside Chef's not great. I don't know if I need two of these. They make the Thopters much better. They help with board stalls. At least two of these are going for the Dismembers. Then it's like a question of whether or not I need Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle is probably better than a Memnite. And then at this point, like, I probably, like, begrudgingly cut the last Dockside Chef. Like, we're trying to make an unplayable card playable in Legacy. And it's fine in some cases. I don't know that it's fine here. Memnite, Foundry, Springleaf Drum, Michiko is a reasonable opening hand. Will probably do a lot of self-damage to myself, but hopefully it hits in pretty hard on my opponent. Pithing Needle. Damn. Alright. Double Memnite. Can I just play Ancient Den this turn? Ancient Den, Springleaf Drum, tap for mana, Retrofitter Foundry. That should be fine. Alright. Den, Springleaf Drum, make a mana, Retrofitter Foundry, call it a turn. Next turn, bash with Michiko. The next turn I will have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. If I tap a Memnite, is enough to make a creature and then play Michiko and attack in with the other Memnite. That's a little awkward. I can use this to make a token now, but then I can't Michiko. And Michikoing is just more important. So that occurs. Ooh, Gingerbrute. Nice. So we'll go 1 mana for that Gingerbrute. Make a white mana with Springleaf Drum. Play Michiko. Make a Memnite Swole. This is just attacking for 9 on turn 2. Good God. Yeah. Mom absorb 8 damage. Yeah, that's about as good of a use for a Mom as you could get in this matchup. Like, Mom is not really a card that my opponent wants to be playing here. Like, it's a card that is probably in their deck because they're playing a Yorion deck, and almost their entire sideboard is dedicated towards beating combo since they're so bad at that in game 1. Gingerbrute's also just, like, set a stop in my draw step here. Anyway, Gingerbrute's unblockable is really good with Michiko. I don't think that's what you tap there. They just do this with it. Alright, I don't need to do anything with my draw step. Target the Gingerbrute with that. If I play Ancient Tomb, I could untap this, turn my Servo into a Thopter, or I can just play Vault of Whispers and get in 1 more damage. Probably need to actually hold up this ability. Yeah, I probably need to hold up this ability. I'll just play Vault of Whispers. I think I still attack in with the Memnites. Alright, let's see what comes in. Ooh, Cathar Commando. Make that unblockable. And my opponent might just block and junk Gingerbrute. We'll see. Like, they've got lines here. That is indeed what's happening. I am okay with all of that. It does mean I don't get in for very much damage in this turn cycle. I think that's fine. Like, I still have another very large creature coming, and I still have a mana sink. Stoneforge starts to get scary here. Cauldra is a little annoying. I can work towards a Thopter. That is Yorion to hand. Fine. Flip that. I think I still just crash in. The chip damage matters. Losing a Memnite in combat doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's all fine. Alright, opponent drops to 15. I'll just play out an Urza Saga and pass. If my opponent has... Oh, no recruiter or anything like that to really shore things up. They are playing out the Aganjo. Okay, so that they can jam a Batterskull. That's reasonable. An end of turn... I would like to make a Thopter, so I can start getting in the air. And I can go 3 mana, untap this, 2 mana, make another thing. 1, 2, 3 mana, untap. And then 2 mana to make another Servo. I'd probably remove this draw step stop on my turn now. Casual 10-10 painting, no big deal. Casual 11-11 painting, no big deal. I gotta ship in with all of that. Realm. Yeah, that's all fine. Don't need to do anything else right now. Alright, cool. We got end of turn Urza Saga activation, plus end of turn Retrofitter Foundry shenanigans. Flicker Whisper Batterskull. Okay. You can get your Batterskull back. The opponent's going to attack in with this Batterskull, knowing that it's going to die to this. How much mana is it to do this? 2 mana. Make. 3 mana, untap. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. I'll just make the Saga token. Actually, I can just avoid the Saga token getting blown up by Flicker Wisp by waiting. I'll just do it this way. I'll just take the chump here. Just make it a little more awkward for my opponent to get value off their Yorion. Okay, is this going to be like a recruiter for another Flicker Wisp? A Skyclave, sure. I go after my Retrofitter Foundry. Or my Portrait, my Retrofitter Foundry. That's fine. And the Urza Saga, we'll still get a token out of that. If Drum, we'll play that, increasing the size of my creatures. Yorion ends up being pretty darn good here. Would trade a flyer with Flicker Wisp quite happily. Opponent does have 4 lands. They can't necessarily cast the Yorion or re-equip Batterskull. That's unblocked, meaning that it probably makes sense to just do this now and take the extra point of damage. And guess I'll see if opponent has land to play Yorion and try to mess up my shit. It's really bad for them if they don't. Oh, they do. Oh, and they have another value creature first. Ooh, that's disgusting, actually. Ooh, opponent could steal a win here. To attack in for 3. It puts me to 9. Then play Yorion, blink, and kill 2 more of my tokens. Yeah, they have lethal in the air next turn. Actually, if they don't remove both... No, they will probably remove both of these. If they don't remove both of these in some circumstance, though, I get a Shadow Spear, and it really fucks up what my opponent is doing. We'll see what they do with all their triggers, though. Okay, yeah, they're Skyclaving that. I presume Flicker Wisping this token and probably some other random token. Yeah, they're taking the flyer. All right, finding another Flicker Wisp. Nettlecyst. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with whatever I get from Urza Saga. This is 5 total mana to equip, 7 total mana to get Shadow Spear as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I cannot make an Urza Saga token. Actually, what about with Springleaf Drum? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I have to just float mana here. All right, there's Shadow Spear. 3 mana Nettlecyst. 2 mana to equip that to something. Make 2 mana using these. Equip to that illusion. Ash in, gain 11. Fortunately, not quite a lethal attack. Yeah, opponent just eats that and goes to 1. Now I do go back up to 18, which is the good news here. We may still be in a game of Magic. This is a hell of a slog. I can gain more life than my opponent can, but my opponent's got a Flicker Wisp, and Flicker Wisp is just the fucking king. Like, opponent can go 5 mana, equip to Yorion, bash in for most of my life total, and then just Flicker Wisp out my token when I attack with it. Not what's happening, but it's a thing that they have access to. This is a very grindy game. I go to 8. Opponent is just holding up all of that mana, which is scary. Yep. Yeah, so I think they just Flicker Wisp kill me here. I don't really have a say in the matter. I get cute and try to bluff here, but like I'm down on clock. Hey, yeah, that kills that, and I am dead in the air to Batterskull equip. I'm just going to F6 here, and just run down a little bit of my opponent's clock. Because if we end up in another grindy game like this, ooh, no, I'm just gonna F6. I'm still dead to the batter skull moving. None of these things fly. I'll just try to take another 10 seconds or so off my opponent's clock. Yep, and come in all the flyers. I'll take that. All right, so we're about even on clock now, and I'm the more aggressive deck, so that does favor me. I don't think I'm going to be making any changes to my deck in respect of time. Like, about the only card that I would think about is, like, boarding this Memnite back in when I'm on the play. I think I like all the cards that are in the deck better than Memnite. Possible, like, Memnite might be better than Aether Spellbomb on the play. A lot of land. I think I just keep this, though. Like, it plays Nettlecyst as the first problem and then pivots into Urza's Saga. I think I offer up Ancient Tomb to Wasteland here. See what my opponent does with that information. The card that I really didn't want them to have. Like, it's okay, but... Alright. Yeah. Nettlecyst. Start working towards Urza's Saga as of next turn. All the little artifacts that I draw can be pretty powerful at, like, powering this thing up. God damn it. This is more annoying for clock-based reasons than anything else. I fucking tapped wrong. I get punished for tapping wrong. Okay. Opponent has to pay for their own Aether Vial there. A little tough. I really wish I didn't tap wrong, though, with Ancient Tomb. I am sitting here looking at this very, 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 very actively. And I'll take 2. That's fine. All right, I pay for these. That's fine. It's a little awkward. Good with it. Play Mox Opal for Legend Rule. Keep this one. Nettlecyst. Bash in for 5. And I probably just aggro this game down. We'll see. Opponent can have, like, Stoneforge for Cauldron here, and shit becomes really annoying. Yeah. Ugh. I'm dealing so much damage to myself with Ancient Tombs here. Opponent may end up in a situation where they just get to chump block and kill me. I might lose. I might have lost this one for having the wrong land. Oh, is the opponent just going aggro here? Oh, it's just going aggro here. I really need to draw something with evasion. I think evasion and equipping double Nettlecyst to something is how I win. I think I'm going to take the block here. Fine. Pay for all this. Go. Sure. Just 2 to equip. Awkward. Probably go for the equip. This is threatening lethal. The issue here is that if opponent has an Aether Vialable creature, this line kills me. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, we weren't beating this draw from my opponent. That is what it is. I will concede. Well, okay, sorry. We weren't beating this draw from the opponent with the mistake that I made in not getting that other Nettlecyst in play. It's possible I can power through this if I get the other Nettlecyst in play. I end up getting 1 more hit in. My opponent will be at about 6 lower life, something like that. But then, like, the Cauldron just gets held back, so I'm at a higher life total, but then I can't really attack. This Flicker Wisp gets rid of a token, starts attacking in the air. That would have been really good. I don't know. It would have been a better game if I didn't mess up. Final round. This hand has no creature. I just have to throw that back. This is going to be a keep. I just have to figure out the sequencing and, like, what card I'm throwing back. So these 4 cards are obligatory. And the question becomes, like, the sequencing from there. I want to play Nettlecyst before I play Urza's Saga, which means keeping Ancient Den. Well, I could Urza's Saga into... Sorry, I could Ancient Tomb on 1 into Urza's Saga on 2. Ancient Den on turn 3 instead. The issue here is I don't get to keep both Scrubland and Dockside Chef, and with no other mana, black mana here, I need to throw back Dockside Chef. Sorry, bud. There's also the question of, like, what land do I play on turn 1? Because of Wasteland very specifically. I think it's Ancient Den, and I slow my roll a turn on Ancient Saga. I don't know. Maybe this is a balls to the walls hand. I'm just a little unsure. This becomes interesting if this is a Volcanic Island. Okay, it's not Volcanic Island. Oh, don't Thoughtseize me. Fuck! Alright, given this, I'm very happy that I played Ancient Tomb, because, like, I can still try to ride Urza's Saga to victory this game. And more artifact lands is nice in that regard. The downside here is I'm not just vomiting more cards onto the board quickly, which, like, definitely matters versus the Doomsday or Storm deck that this is likely to be. Okay. Oh, sure. We're playing against some sort of control or tempo deck instead. Sure. Ornithopter, very reasonable here. This means that the Urza Saga token is not vulnerable to Lightning Bolt, as it will be my fourth artifact. Oh? You're gonna, like, fucking, like, Buried Alive Phoenix me? Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, it's Phoenixes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, please. Oh, fuck me. You fucking stop. What a nut draw. Ox of Agonas as well. This is fine. It's not fine. I think I just eat all this damage rather than chump blocking in hopes of powering through this with a Shadow Spear and some good top decks. What the fuck, though? Absolutely respect it. Vault Scourge. Ow. Shadow Spear. 2 mana. Whip. Bash in for 8. This puts me to 13. 3, 6, 9, 10, assuming Ledger Shredder gets to block here. I'm not necessarily dead to this, but I can be dead to a removal spell on Ornithopter. Okay, opponent just attacking in with the Ledger Shredders, in which case I'll keep the Ornithopter around. Alright, good stuff. I can go ahead and play out a couple more artifacts here. Just, right. I still think that's worth doing. Like, I gain an extra life off of it. Yeah. You probably attack in too, right? Yeah, you attack in too. Alright, good stuff. Just short of lethal. Oh, no, I'm at exactly. I miscounted when I did my combat math. I am very happy that we won that. For Tormod's Crypt. Let's go. Dismember and Aether Spellbomb and Relic are all playable. I'll probably play the Relics. I don't think I like Spellbomb. It can bounce a large Ledger Shredder out of play. I don't know, maybe that's good utility. I've got stuff to think about. I mean, I hate that I'm not casting this league after building around it, but like it's an uncommon that is reasonable in very long grindy matchups, which this is not going to be. These are going to be very fast games one way or the other. From here, the cuts are harder, especially if I want to bring in these cards. Oh, that Shadow Spear was good. Probably like cut a Springleaf Drum, a Nettlecyst. That gets me to this point. Do I just power through Ledger Shredder and not board this stuff? That might be the answer. Just like make that thing chump block. If that's the case, I leave in the fat. Maybe I trim one Retrofitter Foundry. Yeah, let's try this, and I can adjust accordingly. I want Aether Spellbomb if my opponent also like randomly plays Murktide Regent, though. Bit of an interesting opening hand here. I think this is a keep. It threatens to start hitting very hard and very fast and has an Urza Saga as a backup. And is a little soft to, like, Thoughtseize on Vault Scourge, but, like, given this, I don't think I mulligan. See what our draw is, because it, like, changes whether or not I play out Ancient Tomb on 1. Let's attempt this game. Hate paying for this card on Magic Online. Let's just attempt to make this game a Cranial Plating Wacky with Vault Scourge game, and then pivot into Urza's Saga if that doesn't work. I currently don't know if my opponent is playing Daze. So, like, that's a thing. Ledger Shredder. Yeah. I'll just equip that. I think I just attack in now without playing Mox Opal. Like, I can get in one more point of damage this way, but I grow their Ledger Shredder, which is a little awkward for me. I'm fine with calling it a turn there and sandbagging some artifacts. Because if they want to trade Vault Scourge for Ledger Shredder, it works either way for me, right? Looting? Meltdown? Meltdown, sure. And that's a reason to hold back the Opal, right? Yeah, I'll take 2 here. That's fine. And then we can just like go Urza Saga, Opal, Cranial Plating. Has a pretty good turn cycle. All right. Saga, Ornithopter, Cranial Plating. Opposition Agent is in there as well. I think I am going to go ahead and play this out just like for Ledger Shredder reasons. It makes me a little worse versus like Meltdown. But I don't know that I'm supposed to play around a second Meltdown here. There is currently 1 Phoenix in the graveyard as well. So that's a thing. Starting to think opponent doesn't have counterspells. I don't know for sure. But it seems like if there's some amount of other things that they're trying to Dark Ritual out, and if they're trying to trigger the Phoenixes consistently, they might not have room for them. This is going to be one of those situations where, like, this deck list gets published by the time the video goes live, and everyone in the comments is going to be like, this is exactly what's in the deck. All right, no Ledger Shredder attack. All right, there's this. I can make 1 more Concert here, which turns this into a 5 power creature, which is not enough to get in currently. So I'll chill for right now. I am not very far away from, like, beating out this Ledger Shredder. Where did I land on Spellbomb? In the sideboard still? In the sideboard still. Okay, sure. Ooh. This means I'm not getting opposition. Well, I guess the next card they cast could be Opposition Agent. It is Buried Alive. Gross. That's a lot of power. Oh my god, the Lightning Bolt too? Jeez. 3, 6, 9, 12, 17. Well, that's disgusting. I'm dead. Let's do this game again. Do I want any of this stuff? I don't think I want Thorns. Let's sneak this Spellbomb in here over 1 Nettlecyst or maybe a Michiko. Cards are different. Nettlecyst gets Meltdowned. Michiko doesn't. Michiko requires white mana. Nettlecyst doesn't. It also could be I just play like 3 Torma's Crypt or something like that. I don't know. Stopping the Buried Alive portion of the deck seems important. I'm going to keep the colorless stuff. I could also play Aethersworn Canonist. This is a fine hand. Meltdown will be very good against it, but it's a fine hand. All right. Ancient Tomb. Gingerbrute. Shadow Spear. Memnite. Tormod's Crypt. Attack for 1, have a large turn 2 Nettlecyst. Hope my opponent didn't have a Meltdown in their opening hand. I think I have to play the Tormod's Crypt out on turn 1. Otherwise, like, Darkrit, Buried Alive can potentially just dump 9 flying power into play in a way that's very bad for me. All right. Ancient Den into Nettlecyst. I don't think I need to play this Ornithopter, so I'm not going to. We'll just bash in for 2. And we're hoping the thing that I have done is good enough. Did you have Meltdown in your opening hand? As a Ledger Shredder. I guess maybe I play out Ornithopter to play around Ledger Shredder better. All right. Yeah. Cast this. Put this here. That's worth my life, I think. Make that unblockable. Bash in. Opponent goes to 8. I've got the graveyard covered. It's like, I think we're playing the Is It Meltdown game. That's a shuffle. There's a land. I think Dark Ritual is fine. Looting a Phoenix. Opposition Agent is fine. Lightning Bolt Gingerbrute is annoying, but it's happening. This is a tap to sacrifice, right? Yeah, that's fine. Do I just clear this Phoenix? I think I just clear the Phoenix. Otherwise, that's just a chump blocker that buys time. I will make them do their whole combo thing again. Got a decent number of draws that will just kill. Michiko, Nettlecyst, Cranial Plating. There's an Ancient Den instead. So this is a 7/7. And move it over here and turn it into an 8/8. I think I'll just attack with the 7/7 though. See what my opponent has to say about that. Okay, that's fine with me. Drops my opponent to 5. Don't think I want to move any equipment here. And I still think we're just playing the, like, do you draw a Meltdown game? The meltdown for X equals 3, sweeping this Nettlecyst off the battlefield is gross. They did not. And we put up a 2-3 finish with this deck. All right, overall thoughts on the deck list. So when I am asked to build around a specific card, if that card isn't really playable, one of the things that I actively try to do is mitigate the weaknesses of playing that card. And so, like, in deck building, I took advantage of the fact that this was an enchantment creature, and I took advantage of the fact that this could sacrifice artifacts. And as a game 1 card in this deck, like, this was probably still the worst card in the deck, but it was a playable card. The issue is, once you go to sideboarding, like, the Dockside Chef is always going to be the weakest card in the deck, right? Just, like, pretty much unquestionably. It requires colored mana pips. It's really only good in matchups that are probably going to turn 6 plus, and only if you kind of expect your 0-drop artifacts to be sitting there and not doing a ton. So, like, I got this deck list approved by the donor. Donor gave me the thumbs up, but, like, even after building to try to mitigate the weaknesses of this card, like, the card, even then, doesn't really reach the playability bar. Like, it's not embarrassing in game 1 scenarios, but once I have to make adjustments to the deck list, like, the card just doesn't hold up to cards like these that are otherwise in the deck. And since the infinite combos that like work with this card require so much of a mana investment or so many cards to make them happen, like brewing around the card in that capacity isn't great either. And kind of like showing you this, like, let's say you're drafting. What pick do you get, Dockside Chef? Is it like 13 plus, right? Like, this is something that is like maybe not making your limited deck in a lot of formats unless you have like some 6 synergy. And like, we have 6 synergy of so many artifacts to sacrifice with it, but it still doesn't just make the cut here. So, like, just know that if you want to play a pet card in Legacy, that is something you are absolutely allowed to do. But, like, sometimes you have to look at it and go, like, all right, this one is, like, maybe not going to make the cut. As like, more generally, as far as this strategy goes, like, the strategy was pretty legit. Like, if I play a little better, like, maybe we pick up that win versus Death and Taxes, and I end this league 3-2. The real question is, like, in a world where, like, Meltdowns, Null Rods, Stony Silences, Karns, and such are being regularly played, like, is this strategy viable? I think if you cut the Dockside Chefs and you start looking at, like, playing a couple of blue cards instead, a couple Kappa Cannoneers, a couple Thoughtcasts or Thought Monitors, give this deck a little more oomph in the late game when you're top decking. I think this general strategy is reasonable. I liked the cards that I had access to. There's some world where I want to consider Leyline of the Void over Tormod's Crypt. I opted for Tormod's Crypt because of, like, these, like, Nettlecyst, Michiko, and Cranial Plating type cards. It feels fine to me, but I could see it going either way. Yeah, anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. If you have any thoughts about deck building or how to make this card more playable, feel free to go ahead and throw those in the comments. Oh, and happy belated Father's Day to those of you who are fathers out there and consuming my content, because I am recording this on Father's Day. Normally I'd say, like, hey, call your dad today, but, like, it's the 23rd now for you all. Time's weird. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya!